Hey everyone, it's Carter King. If you're an educator, a leader, or just a parent who wants to teach kids about space, check out my newest book, Carter's Journey Through Space. It's available now on Amazon, Target, and bookstores everywhere. Come explore the universe with me.
Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create environments where people thrive. Through real conversations, practical strategies, and powerful stories, we equip leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself to build cultures rooted in purpose, performance, and authenticity. Because culture isn't something you talk about, it's something you live. This is the Contagious Culture Podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King. And again, the goal of this podcast is to help you create ecosystems and environments where people thrive. Look, today is not going to be our traditional podcast where I come on and I teach a bunch and it's all focused on nonprofit marketing as well as development and mission-driven organizations. I want to have a real conversation. I want to have a real conversation. Now, not saying that any of the other conversations that we have not been real, but I want to be able to really be intentional because I find myself on the opposite end of a lot of conversations of people that are starting something, people that are working towards something, people that are building something, people that have something in their mind, something in their heart, something in their wheelhouse that they want to be able to create, that they want to be able to do, but it's not happening. It's not happening for whatever reason. They have something that they want to be able to achieve. They have something that they've needed to be able to accomplish, but it's not happening. It's stale, it's stagnant. They feel stuck and they're not taking the time, to be able to figure out the why. And in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about a concept of the power of one, which is not a new concept. It's in many books, such as Essentialism, such as The One Thing. It's in so many books, but I believe that I wanted to bring it to you all because it's something that's worked for me hand over fist in many seasons of my life, and I want to be able to help you get unstuck. I want to be able to help you actually do the thing that you're destined to do. I want you to be able to figure out why it is that I'm not achieving in the way that I want to achieve. Why is it that I'm not hitting the target? Why is it that I'm not creating the results? Why is it that I'm not successful? Whether I'm trying to launch a business and it's not making any money. Whether I'm trying to figure out how to write a book and I just can't figure out the words, whether I'm trying to launch a new product or service and I can't get people, whether I'm trying to do something and it's not working. And what we're going to talk about today is, yes, the reason why I feel like you're not making progress, but then also how to change that in 5 days. Like, how do you change it in 5 days? And this conversation has been inspired by so many things, but I want to give credit to a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, David Shands. And I was on his community. This was a few weeks ago. And he came on there and he talked about, what can we do in 5 days? What can we do in 5 days? He talked about the Beatles' hit record or hit song was produced in 5 days. He talked about it took them 5 days to find Apollo 13. He talked about all of these different things, like Airbnb's original website took them, I believe, 3 days or 3 hours or 5 hours. And all of these amazing things, whether it's major launches, it's major historic things that were created, that were implemented, that were successful, that was accomplished in 5 days. And he put it back onto us to ask us, what can you do in 5 days? Like, what have you been harping over? What have you been saying that it takes all of this time to be able to create in 5 days? And he let some of the people come off of camera and be able to just talk about some of the opportunities in their lives, what they've been able to accomplish in 5 days. And I remember so many things that I've accomplished in such a short window. What can we do in the windows? What can we do in the windows? And Oftentimes, I believe that we think that it's going to take us so much longer. We think it's going to take us months to be able to write and publish books. We think that it's going to take us months and years to figure out that powerful speech. We think that it's going to take years to be able to raise $1 million for our organization, or even make millions of dollars in our organizations. We think it's going to take us so long, but what if? What if we only had 5 days?
Hey, it's Kyle. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but I got a quick culture check for you. How's your team's energy right now? I mean, literally, right now. Are people feeling inspired? Or are they just showing up? See, here's the truth. Culture doesn't change because we talk about it. It changes because we live it actively every single day. And that's what I help organizations do. Build contagious cultures that people actually want to be a part of. Through keynote talks, interactive trainings, and hands-on consulting, I help leaders transform the way their teams connect, perform, and grow. So if your culture needs a little bit of spark, let's light it up together. Visit theculturelab.org, again, theculturelab.org, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn at Kyle S. King to learn more about how we can work together. Because remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching. Now let's get back to the program.
What if we only had 5 days? One of the questions that I used to ask students time and time again is, if I was offering you $1,000 to be able to run 10 miles nonstop at 5 o'clock in the morning, would you do it? And a lot of them said no. Like, no, Mr. King, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to even accomplish that. And then I said, well, what if your mom was 10 miles from you and you had no car, no money, no taxis, no Ubers, anything, and the house was on fire and she was stuck in the house? Would you do it? Would you run to her? Would you run as fast as you can, as long as you could, to be able to get her out of a burning building? And all of the hands would go up and everybody would be in agreement. But then I would ask, I said, well, what's the difference, y'all, between you being offered $10,000 and you saying no, to you actually doing it with no money in return? And they said, many of them said, because it's my mom. And I personally believe that it had nothing to do with the person. Now, a little bit. It had to do with the motivation. It had to do with the pain. It had to do with the why. So if any of us are feeling stuck, our why, our why isn't strong enough. If any of us are feeling stuck, we're not feeling really motivated. The motivation isn't big enough. The why isn't big enough. The desire isn't big enough, or what I call the fire. The fire isn't big enough. So I want you to think through what you have going on, whether it's your marriage is in shambles, whether it's your finances, you don't have enough money and leadway to be able to do and create in the way that you want to create. Maybe if I don't figure it out now, my kids won't have it. Maybe if I don't figure it out now, my car will get repossessed. Maybe if I don't figure out now, I'm going to have to go ask somebody for money. Maybe if I don't figure it out now, I'm going to continue to be overlooked. Maybe if I don't figure it out now, I'm going to be in the same place that I've been in time and time and time again. So the motivation wasn't big enough. The motivation has to be bigger than the process. The motivation has to be bigger than your circumstance. What are you motivated by? Because if, again, like I was asking the students, if I offered you $10,000 to run 100 miles or 10 miles, you probably wouldn't do it. Most of us, there's some of us that wouldn't raise our hand. But if I said in 10 miles, you have 10 miles to run to get your mom out of a burning building, a lot of us would do it completely for free. So it's not that the goal isn't big enough. It's that the motivation isn't big enough. And are you actually motivated enough? And do you have a big enough why to overcome a lot of the feelings of doubt and a lot of the feelings of perfectionism and a lot of the feelings of imposter syndrome? And this isn't meant to be a motivational message. I want to actually give you something. But what I want you to think about is what can we do in the next week? What can we do in the next 5 days that can get us one step closer, just one step closer to what we want to accomplish? One step closer. Because I'm going to tell you this, it took me 11 days. It took me 11 days and one person additional to be able to accomplish a conference that sold out in 11 days. We got the graphics ready. We had all of the educators in the building. We launched the Blueprint Conference, and it started with a piece of paper like this. I wrote an idea down on paper, and you know where the motivation came from? Years ago, this is about 3-4 years ago, I got tired. I got tired of applying to all of these conferences and applying to all of these associations and continued to get overlooked in denial letters. And then I would go to these conferences and then I would sit in these rooms and I would sit in these seats and I would wonder, like, why is this person having the mic? What do they have that I don't have? What do they have? Because I'm not getting either value, feeling led, or feeling any form of insight from what they're communicating. And I got tired. I got tired of continuing to apply to conferences and ask people to speak even for free. And I kept getting no. So what did I do? I created a platform and I wrote down the vision on a sheet of paper similar to this. And then I took a picture of it and then I identified my who's and we identified a venue. And then we just started working. In 11 days, we sold out a conference. In 11 days, we sold out a conference. In 11 days, we sold out a conference, y'all, with over 100 educators and vendors that paid to be there. And at the Wells Fargo building right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. What can you do in 11 days? What vision, what plan, what idea, what dream have you been sitting on that you're thinking that it's going to take you months, that you're thinking it's going to take you years, you're thinking it's going to take you all of this time? What can you do with 11 days? See, the thing with me in anything, I recognize that with a short period of time, you can accomplish a lot. See, a few years ago, again, and we're going to talk about this season of my life. A few years ago, I was 40 pounds overweight. 40 pounds overweight. Went into the doctor's office. They said if I kept doing what I was doing, I was at risk to have a heart attack and I was on risk to being pre-diabetic. And I remember watching this show the other day called The Pit. And it was this man that his foot had to get amputated because he was diabetic and didn't take care of his health. And I had an idea back then. I recognized back then that this is a choice. You're not eating right. You're not living right. You're not consuming the right things. So what did I do? In 4 months, I dropped 45 pounds. In 4 months, I dropped 45 pounds and was able to complete my first half marathon race. What could I do in a short window? What can we do in shorter windows? It's not going to take you this long. See, if you got focused for 90 days and started eating right, reading right, and being right, I guarantee you could lose the weight. But are you motivated enough? I guarantee if you buckle down on your finances for 90 days, I guarantee you could have more money saved. I guarantee you would have the ability to increase your level of investments. I guarantee you would be able to put the money down on that new house that you want because it took me 90 days. In 2021, when I bought my first house, I had nothing at the beginning of the year. I had a business, but I was making money, but then on the other hand, I was blowing money. I was making it, but I was blowing it at the same level, at the same rate. But what did I do? I had a vision that I wanted to buy a house. I had a vision that I wanted to be able to walk my son through a building that was being built at a time, and he would be able to choose which room he wanted. He would be able to choose the fixtures and furnishes. He would be able to choose these various things. And I remember walking him in to various houses, and he was like, Dad, I want something new. So what do we do? In 3 months, what do? We buckled down. We made the money in the business. We increased our capacity. In 3 months, what do? We put down $30,000 on a house. What can you do in shorter windows? What can you do in shorter windows? It does not take that long. In 11 days, we sold out a conference. In 90 days or 120 days, I dropped 45 pounds in weight. In 90 days, I buckled down and was able to afford the down payment, $30,000 to put towards a house. What can you do? What can you do? I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you one more example. When I launched my publishing company, when I launched my publishing company, and this was in 2020, when I launched the publishing company before we built my new company, the Culture Lab, I got on one podcast. I got on one podcast called the Social Proof Podcast, which at that time and still today is top 10 podcasts on entrepreneurship. I sat down, we recorded, I believe a month later, the episode dropped, and I made $50,000 that week from that podcast. I'm going to say it again. I made $50,000 that week from that one episode. So my question for you, anybody that's listening, what can you do in shorter windows? What goal have you had? What dream have you envisioned? What want do you actually desire that you've been waiting to accomplish? You've been waiting. You've been waiting. You've been waiting on something, whether it's someone to affirm it, whether it's somebody to believe in it, whether it's some thing that's going to give you the motivation to actually do it. I'm telling you right now, you don't need it. You don't need a professional camera. You can use your phone. You don't need another person. You are enough. You don't need a book of affirmations or the book on how to figure it out or the real estate for dummy or the business for dummy. You don't need those different things. I guarantee you have everything inside you. You just need one thing, and that's what I call focus. You need one thing, and it's called the power of one. And I was on my community last week. Every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I run an exclusive community of various entrepreneurs, mission-driven people that want to be able to create more, that want to create more, but don't have the answers. They don't have the strategies. They don't have the techniques. They don't have the methodologies to be able to create and produce at a high level. And you know what they don't also have? They don't have a community. Because a lot of people that I talk to, they say, oh, I wish I had a community of individuals like this. I built it. I built it because I recognized it. I saw a need. I saw a gap. And I recognized that there was opportunity to be able to build something exclusive for these types of people. So I built it. And last Thursday, we talked about the power of one. So I'm going to give you a few things that I want you to do today. I'm just going to give you a few things that I want you to do today, because if you're that person that's watching or that you're that person that's listening that is feeling what I'm saying, and you're like, I want to do more. I want to make more money. I want to increase my savings. I want to buy that house. I want that person. I want to experience love more. I want to go on that vacation. I want to do these things. I guarantee I'm doing it all because of this one thing that I'm getting ready to share with you. It's one thing. All right, let's get to it. So when you think about all of the multitude of things in your life, when you think about all of the multitude of things that you have in your life, I'm going to give you one key piece of advice, and it's right here. You have everything that you need. You have every single thing that you need. And what can you do today? What can you do today? I appreciate those comments. What can you do today? So when you think about it, there's a lot of times where we feel so overwhelmed. We feel so overwhelmed because we have kid responsibilities and job responsibilities and entrepreneurial or just vision and passion responsibilities. I'm trying to get my health right. I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm trying to get my finances right. All of these different things are happening all at one time. And it feels like, oh my God, what do I do first? What do I do first? And what you do first is you create some intention. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, what would my life look like if it was absolutely perfect 12 months from now? Write it down. Write it down. What would my life look like if it was absolutely perfect 12 months from now? What would my relationship look like? What would my finances look like? What would my relationship spiritually look like? What would my day-to-day schedule look like? How would I feel on a day-to-day basis? What would I be doing on a day-to-day basis? And I mean 12 months from now. And if you can't think that far out, make it 6 months. Make it 6 months. Make it 6 months. All right. And that's what I want you to think about first, because I recognize that I'm almost there. There's a few tweaks. There's a few tweaks. And trust me, if you know me, you know that there's a few tweaks that I need to make in order to be there. But I'm getting there because I had to focus on this first. And if you are listening to the audio version, I'm pointing at my head. I had to get my mind right because I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, colleague, Marissa, this morning. And she said, in order for you to lead well, you have to be well. And it really spoke to me. It hit me in my gut. And I had to recognize, in order for me to lead in business, I had to get well. In order for me to lead in my relationship, I had to get well. In order for me to be a better parent and lead in that area, I had to get well. So what is something in your life that you can do better? What is a gap that you can find? That maybe it's your procrastination. Maybe it's the negative things that you communicate to yourself. Maybe it's the people in the environment that you have around you. Maybe it's the lack there of focus and reading and putting the things in your mind. Maybe instead of listening to music, you need to listen to podcasts. Maybe instead of reading things that are negative in the news about the Trump administration, maybe we should focus on reading nonfiction books that can actually move us forward, or even fiction books that could just take us in a place that's happy. Maybe instead of us watching Love Island and Netflix all the time, maybe we can use that opportunity to leverage YouTube videos, or even just subscribe to the Contagious Culture Podcast everywhere on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple Music. Maybe what can I do that can remove the distraction and put me one step closer to my destiny? I want you to write it down. What are things that I do on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, or on a consistent basis that I think are not taking too much time, but they are at least time that I could put towards something else? Sometimes intention requires auditing, because if we were in the exact place that we would want to be, just imagine that place. Just imagine that place. So first we have to understand, where do I want to be in 12 months? Then I want us to break it down. What is that needing to be in 6 months? Now, then I want you to think about what needs to be audited in my life. Like, how can I turn these distractions into opportunities for growth? And now number three, and again, this is right here, and it's coming from right here, y'all, because this is me talking to me right now as well. Then I want you to think about one thing. What needs to be true in my life in order for me to be able to accomplish those things? I heard something a while ago, and it said, if you want to actually be that person, you need to start moving as that person right now. But that's sometimes challenging. Like, if you want to be like this super successful business OG person that's flying on private jets and doing those different things, I don't really think that people have the capacity to do that on a daily basis. Like, it takes some type of resources to be able to live these lives. But what can I do? Can I get up a little bit earlier? Because once I started restructuring my mornings over these last few weeks and started getting up a little bit earlier so that I can have 15 minutes of worship, 15 minutes of Bible reading, and 15 minutes of prayer, I guarantee my days have been so much better, because I'm clearer in the day, because I've taken those mental and mindful mornings and moments to be able to structure how I want to be able to present my day. So what are those small things? What needs to be true in my schedule on a day-to-day basis so that I can actually accomplish those things in 6 and 12 months? What needs to be true? What needs to be true? And then I want you to think about one thing. What are the outcomes that I want? And what is the activity that has to align with those outcomes? And this is where we have the fun. This is where I talk about the power of one. Because what I shared with my community last week is simply this. How could I get one person to know my story today? And this is daily things, just daily things. Can I tell my story to one person today? Maybe that story and how I overcame and bounced back. Maybe I want to speak an engagement. And can I reach out to one opportunity today? See, I'm keynoting, I'm training and testing out and featuring a new keynote called Habits of Excellence. It's these 5 key mindset shifts that first and second year college students need to make so that they can set themselves up for a life and career of success and peace. It's these 5 key steps that I've used in building businesses, writing books, and just being the just amazing human being that I am. All right. It's these 5 steps. So I know that I want to keynote at more universities in 2026. So what does that mean for me? That means for me that I need to be reaching out to professors. I need to be reaching out to deans. I need to be reaching out to all of these individuals. Do you think that I could share one message a day on LinkedIn to a new person? That's the power of one. Number 2, any business owners that are tapping in, 1 close per day. 1 close per day. I was talking to my lady earlier on today, and I was like, look, we got to close one per day, one new membership per day, one new course per day, one new speaking engagement per day. Just imagine if you were a business owner and you got one new member, one new client, one more sale every single day. See, here it is. A lot of us aren't getting it because we're not putting ourselves out there. We're not making the calls. We're not doing the uncomfortable work. And like somebody reached out to me a few months ago and they called it the discomfortable work. I didn't look up the word. I don't even know if that's a real word, but we're not doing the uncomfortable work. And that's the reason that we're not in comfortable spaces because we don't want to do the uncomfortable work. We're not comfortable with our finances. We're not comfortable with our spouse. We're not comfortable with our wardrobe. We're not comfortable with the car that we live. We're not comfortable in the house that we live in. We're not comfortable because we're not willing to do the uncomfortable work. So we got to commit to doing the uncomfortable if we want to be able to live in a season that is unimaginable. We have to do the uncomfortable if we want to live in a season that is unimaginable. And it requires us to focus on that one thing. Can you tell your story to one person today? Can you close one new client today? Just one. Can you make one cold call today? Can you get on the phone with somebody and just throw that pitch out? One thing that I said in my community that I run every Thursday is you got to stop being passive in your pitch. Unless you have 6 to 12 months of living expenses in an account and all of these different things that you want to be able to achieve, we have to stop being passive with our pitch, y'all. We have to be more aggressive and more focused on the things that we actually want to achieve.
Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I want to ask you a quick question. I promise, just a quick question. If you could stop chasing dollars and start building a fundraising system that actually works, would you do it? That's what the NP Accelerator is all about. In 12 weeks, we help nonprofit leaders just like yourself strategize, secure, and scale with tools, coaching, and accountability that actually moves the needle forward. No more guesswork, no more burnout, just a clear path to grow your impact and your income. Spots are limited and your mission can no longer wait. Check the show notes, click the link, and book a discovery call with our team right now. Hey, let's get back to the episode. You will not want to miss.
Can I get one person to review my book on Amazon today? Can I get one person that I can pitch today? Can I get one person onboarded into my course today? See, all of these are questions that I'm asking myself, but I'm asking you to think through yourself as well. What is the one activity that I could focus on today that I can actually control? I may not be able to control if somebody has money on the other side of the phone, but I can control if I reach out to that person. I can control dialing those 9 numbers and actually making the call. Or is it 10 numbers? Dialing a 10 number and then actually making the call. See, if we want to create unimaginable success, it requires a few things. And those first thing is setting intention. What does the next 6 to 12 months look like if it's successful? If you are living the exact life that you want to live, what does that need to look like? And I want you to actually document it and write it down to the T. Then I want you to ask yourself, what needs to be audited and changed? What distractions need to be removed so that we can be able to achieve this type of success? Third thing, what needs to be true? What needs to be true? What are the things that I need to commit to on a day-to-day basis so that I can actually achieve that type of success? What does that need to look like on a day-to-day basis? On a day-to-day basis. And then what is the one thing, just the one thing, not the 4, not the 3, not the 2. What is the one thing that I can commit to today, right now, when I finish listening to this, when I get off of live, what is the one thing that I can do today that will be able to accelerate my growth and get me one step closer to where I want to be in the next 6 to 12 months? I told y'all, it took me 90 days to save for my first house, to buy my first house, put out $30,000. It took me 90 days or 120 days. It took me 120 days to lose 40 pounds and prepare to run my first half marathon race. It took me 40 days to lose it took me 4 months to lose 40 pounds and prepare for my first half marathon. It took me 90 days to save $30,000 and buy my first house. It took me 11 days to be able to plan and execute a sold out conference. It took me 5 days to launch something and be on someone's podcast and make $50,000 in 5 days. What can you do in the window? What can you do in the window? And this isn't to scream or attack at you, or this isn't to attack you or scream at you. This is to motivate you. See, if our motivation was enough, because you know the goal, you want to be that millionaire, you want to have more savings, you want to be invested more, you want to be able to grow your thing, whatever that thing is, your vision, your dream, your passion. But what is the activity that I need to commit to today so that I can accomplish it? The goals, the dreams, the gifts that you have that have been given to you are not meant to be wasted. So what can you do? What are you committing to today so that you can actually set your future up tomorrow? My name is Kyle King. It's another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast, y'all. And if you are interested in being in a community, an exclusive community that we meet every single Thursday at 12 p.m., a group of entrepreneurs, mission-driven entrepreneurs that are really killing it. One of my people raised $4,000 last week for their nonprofit organization. It's like one of my other members launched their book. One of my other members is getting ready to launch schools and has their first school contract. It's like these are the types of conversations that we're having in the community. And if that's you, if you want to do more, if you want to accomplish more, then shoot me a DM. Wherever you're watching this, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or on Facebook, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you hear this, wherever you see this, I want you to message me one thing that you want to accomplish and let us help you. Let us help you. Because your dreams, they're so big that you need a community, you need clarity, and you need some accountability. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast, y'all. I'm your host, Kyle King. And one of the questions that I always ask on the episode is, look, what type of culture are you spreading? The energy you bring is the culture you create. Y'all go make y'all's worth catching. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Contagious Culture Podcast. If this episode challenged or inspired you, hey, take a second to share it with someone who's building culture in their world. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself join the movement. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or YouTube at Kyle S. King for more tips, tools, and methodologies to be able to help you create this ecosystem of absolute excellence. Until next time, lead boldly, live intentionally, and remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching.